Ready to roll, live from Texas. This is the Will Cain Show, and we begin today with disturbing new allegations against Eric Swalwell, as a fifth woman has come forward with allegations of sexual misconduct.
I believe he drugged my drink. I only had one glass of wine. When I arrived at his hotel room, I was already incapacitated and I couldn't move my arms or my body. He raped me and he choked me. And while he was choking me, I lost consciousness. And I thought I died.
At this hour, we are still waiting to hear from the congressman, who has not publicly addressed these new allegations. But he did previously announce his resignation. This as we heard more details this morning from two other accusers.
I didn't tell anybody for years, out of fear.
What were you afraid of?
Well, at first I thought I was all alone. Ultimately, it reached a point where he invited me to a hotel to meet him. It was very clear what the connotation was. At that point, I completely stopped responding. What I keep thinking back to is how lucky I am that I didn't go to that hotel.
It started out as professional and platonic, and then slowly they became more and more explicit, asking me what I was wearing.
And she says it did not stop there, ultimately leading to him sending her a graphic picture of his little Swalwell. As allegations pile up, it begs the question, what are the chances that several different women have the same experience, right, Congressman?
What are the chances that 3 or 4 women independently who never met each other would have similar experiences with one person? So either, Ari, this person committed these horrific acts, or he is the single unluckiest person in the world for these people to conspire and make up lies against him.
Swalwell says he is the latter, the unlucky, falsely accused. Writing in part, I will fight the serious false allegation made against me. However, I must take responsibility and ownership for the mistakes that I did make. FBI Director Kash Patel says he's welcome to come make his case. Writing in part on X, Eric Swalwell has maintained that none of the allegations against him are true. And now that he's resigned, we would welcome him to sit down with the FBI and share any information. No word on whether or not Swalwell will take up Patel on his offer. What is becoming clearer, Swalwell's wife deserved better.
Absolutely not.
Did you think I could be governor?
Didn't cross my mind.
Appreciate that confidence.
I think you just got my endorsement.
You ready to do like a public endorsement video?
I don't think you need mine. You have Adam Schiff.
Every other endorsement has been withdrawn. No word on whether or not the wife still endorses Eric Swalwell in his failed campaign for governor. That was social media. What did we get on TV? Well, mostly ridiculous social media videos. But we also saw the congressman touting himself as a Me Too champion.
For Brett Kavanaugh's sake, if he is innocent, I hope tomorrow he opens his statement and says, you know what? Bring in all the victims, allow them to be heard, allow them to be questioned. That will clear his name if he's indeed innocent.
As somebody who has spent my time in Congress working to stand up for the rights of victims, sexual assault victims who deserve justice.
I believe, as a former prosecutor and a dad of a little girl, that we have to do everything to stand with sexual assault victims.
Over and over, we learn the power of projection. Accuse others of the sins that you are committing, from racism to scientism to infidelity to piggish behavior. Always project. Off air, the warnings were there. They were circulating that Swalwell and his conduct, and the conduct that he publicly crusaded against, because Politico reported the 45-year-old cable news darling and Trump antagonist had developed a reputation for unsavory and sometimes unwanted behavior toward women. And those warnings were shared in whisper networks, but rarely traveled outside the circle of political insiders. So why then is the press now digging into Swalwell? From the Federalist, the propaganda press is as much a villain for seemingly knowing about allegations or sexual abuse and purposely not reporting on them until they became politically convenient or undeniable. Remember, Swalwell at one time ran for president, and yet we now hear for the first time, as he trails in his race for governor, that he was an absolute pig. Political convenience is also probably the reason then we didn't hear from top Democrats, including his fellow camel-riding former BFF, Senator Ruben Gallego, who just last week stood by his man, writing, "When you are in first place is when they target you. Eric is a fighter and he will win the governor's race." But this week, that narrative is no longer convenient for the senator. So this is what he says today.
You said when you first heard these rumors a few weeks ago, that's when you called him. Then you said you've heard these rumors for years. So which one is it, Senator?
So I heard rumors of him being flirty.
And that wasn't an issue enough for you to not trust him to watch your kids or be close with him?
Because, you hear this, and then when you're close to somebody and you know his wife, you see this. You see that relationship. You know that, it maybe just isn't true. This man led a double life. He lied to us. He lied to his family, lied to his constituents.
So what changed, Senator? Was it a directive from more senior members of the party? Because that's a lot what it sounds like coming from Nancy Pelosi.
Some Republicans and others are saying that Democrats turned kind of a blind eye, that they knew what he was up to or what the allegations were.
That is absolutely positive. It's true that they may say that, but it is absolutely not true.
You had no idea?
None whatsoever. None whatsoever. I had none whatsoever.
No idea. None whatsoever. That from the person that Swalwell once touted as his mentor.
I will say the best mentor I had was Nancy Pelosi, not necessarily on messaging, but just on wielding power. I learned up front and center with her, how to work the caucus and wield power. I mean, 'cause she knew how to flex. Mm-hmm. That woman knew how to flex. She's one of the greatest leaders I think we'll have had in our country in 100 years.
But according to Pelosi, the mentoring stopped short of telling him to resign.
Did you tell him to resign?
Oh, I think that was his decision. I think it's a smart decision to make.
The right thing to do?
Yes, the right thing to do.
The chorus of condemnation isn't likely to quiet down as more women come forward. And one of the loudest voices belongs to his former billionaire benefactor, the guy whose house Swalwell was holed up in when all of this came busting into the light.
Mad? Yeah. I am no longer a Democrat. I'm now a libertarian Republican. Because that's what a blue dog Democrat used to be.
I said, pal, you busted the trust. I'm disappointed and disgusted. Get the out of here.
Could this be the start of a cascade of resignations and expulsions for what amounts to bad boy behavior in D.C., a place where apparently sub-D-list celebrities go to act like they're in the middle of a frat house? I've never spent much time in D.C., but I'm appalled that so many people who are serving, presumably, as citizen legislators, in the spirit of Thomas Jefferson, somehow find this the place that they go to have keggers and hook up with ladies of the night. You see, shortly after Swalwell's resignation, Tony Gonzalez officially stepped down from office, effective tonight. He admitted sexual misconduct with a staffer earlier this year. It likely won't stop there. Speaker Mike Johnson saying today Congresswoman Sheila Sheriffless McCormick should be expelled as she faces accusations she stole $5 million in relief funds. Johnson's also keeping a close eye on the ethics investigation into Corey Mills, who faces accusations of assault and benefiting from federal contracts while in office. Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna says this is all bigger than any one member of Congress. There's a whole system to make these problems go away.
Doesn't Congress have a lot of sexual harassment, misconduct claims that they settle and they pay out, but they keep secret?
Yeah, they do. That's the Congressional Slush Fund and House Oversight. We actually did vote to subpoena those records, and we'll be releasing them because the American people should know, A, if you're voting for someone that's guilty of sexual harassment to where they have to settle it with a victim, but then also, too, do you really think your taxpayer dollars should be going to that? And the answer is no.
Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.